And a very good evening, everybody. I'm John Cole. One of this country's biggest and best sporting events takes place tomorrow, the Final Four in San Antonio. And for 43 years, I've been asking the head coach of the Tetons for his picks. Let's hear from the man who led his club to 23 wins this year on who he likes.
Florida and Auburn, who do you think wins it and why?
That'll be an interesting one. Florida was looking so good there in the SEC tournament. Now kind of in the NCAA, they've kind of looked a little bit, hit and miss and that sort of thing. But anytime that you have a matchup very recent where you beat someone, it always kind of seems like that team's looking for revenge, and then they can kind of, dictate how they want to play. So I think it'll be an interesting one, and I think Florida will if they can kind of get back their offense when they were scoring just in the in the hundreds and everything. But it'll be an interesting one.
All right, Duke and Houston. What do you think?
I think it'll probably be Houston. I think that Duke is probably the most is playing the best right now, or especially has the most kind of just overall skill and everything with that. But Houston's just got a way of really turning that into such a defensive battle. They play so dang hard, and they're not afraid physicality wise and that sort of stuff. And it'll just be interesting. Duke gets one of their forwards back though, who just kind of was able to sprinkle in a little bit in that Elite Eight game. So I mean that'll definitely help them and can kind of turn them back into a little bit of what that of what they were just a few weeks ago as well too. But Houston with Kelvin Sampson, they're playing really good, and they just seem to really understand what what they need to do.
Well, he's right on about Kelvin Sampson. The man can coach. He told me if it comes down to Florida and Houston, he's going with Houston to cut down the nets on Monday. My picks, Florida and the War Eagles. Bruce Pearl is also a terrific coach. He won at Milwaukee. Nobody's won there since, but I like the Gators. I've seen them play a lot. Their senior leader, Walter Clayton Jr., makes big shot after big shot. Duke and Houston, what a matchup. Cooper Flagg is from a small town in Maine, Newport, Maine. He's a New Englander. He's the best college player I've seen in a long, long time. I grew up in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, which for me was the first 22 years of my life. And that made me a New Englander. Since the day I saw this kid play, I've been pulling for him, and it won't stop. Saturday, I think Duke comes up with a win over Houston in what could be a classic. And Monday, Duke behind Mr. Flagg cuts down the nets in Florida with that win over Florida in San Antonio. The college baseball now, year in and year out. The Pioneers from Miles Community are always good, and that includes this year as well. They've won 24 games already.
All right, Miles City good again.
Always. They're always good, always tough. They're a big offensive group. I think if we do our job, on the mound and continue to do what we do, don't give up the freebies, don't give up the free passes, I think we've got a shot against anybody. But yeah, they can really swing the bat, and it's going to be a fun home stretch.
All right, folks, a reminder, Sunday they are home, and they'll take on Dawson at 1-3. Softball also plays 1-3. And then next Sunday they'll take on Miles, so that'll be good. We do not have a final in. Girls softball between Williston and Sydney. That one played over in eastern Montana. And those Minnesota Twins tomorrow will be home. They were off tonight. Tomorrow it's an afternoon game. Bailey Ober will get the ball. Last year, a good season for him, a coming out year, 12 wins and 9 losses, 12-9, but he got shelled in the opener. Game time is 1:10, so they need him to do something, that is for sure, and they've got to continue to hit the old baseball. Let's take a timeout.